Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the channel Charles Moore. Please be sure to comment, like, subscribe to the channel Charles Moore. Please remember to keep your comments if it's not offensive. If you're not subscribed to the channel Charles Moore, please hit the bell notification to get notification when the channel receives uploads. We're talking about the how do people here in America want to spend the rest of the future? Alright, we're 3 years and it's been a terrible year in 2023, and here we are 3 years later, and, how do we want to spend the rest of 2026? If you answered, oh, I want to spend the rest of my future mass shooting and killing people, and for what reason? Oh, maybe people just have a passion of, hating people in general. Maybe you just hate your own life. Maybe you just my life doesn't even have any meaning anymore and stuff. I'm just gonna ruin it anyway. Just live my life for crime and then just get myself into trouble with the law, and then, and then there would be the rest of my future. Right there. Look, I just get, obviously, it's obviously, pretty stupid. It's probably just very, very stupid what people do. A lot of people here in America just obviously don't have a clue on, what they're doing anymore. That's just, the last mass shooting in 2023, I heard what the last name of Robert Card. Obviously, this was somebody that was mentally, I think he was mentally unstable. Yeah, not to be completely mistaken here, but yeah, he was mentally unstable. He could have been mentally disabled too, I don't know. But obviously, he wasn't understanding why, or maybe he knew why he was causing a shooting at a bowling alley. Alright, I obviously have no idea of, the world may just never know, But regardless, that means that, hey, we got stupid people here in America that obviously just go out and commit these mass shootings because they just don't have a head for thinking. Oh yeah, they actually have a head. They just don't bother to think about the consequences of their actions. That's what it is. Alright. Yeah, that's the problem here. That's the problem with a lot of people here. Yeah. There are just too many people here that obviously just, I guess, they're looking to ruin their future. That bad. Yeah. Maybe they have a passion for hitting people. Maybe they hate the fact that they are living. Maybe they think that their life is just not worth living anymore because, they've gotten themselves in such a bad situation that they just can't get out of. Next thing they do is go and commit these type of crimes because You know? They would rather just, live the rest of their life behind bars. Maybe. I'd obviously be scared. I'd obviously be scared for, having to spend the rest of my life behind bars. That it would just, it would just make me sick. It's something that I obviously would not be having fun with. And second, if you commit any sort of crime, you just remember you're also going to be hated for the crime you commit. All right, not just by your family members, but by the public too. Maybe if the public had the passion for just hating you just as a human being and that stuff, and then that's their problem. That's their problem. But yeah, this is what a lot of people do. Alright, they go and they commit these crimes, and that's the next thing that they want to do. And then the next thing you know, they have to go to prison because that's what the law requires of them. And it's sad that there are people that obviously just want to ruin their future for themselves. Which, obviously, I can't begin to just, imagine, why. Why? Why are these people just going and committing these mass shootings? Well, you see, I don't know why. I think just, I just don't have a clue. Obviously, I just don't know why. Alright, obviously, a lot of people just commit these crimes because, well, they have their heads not in the right place. Alright, and then, you hear these news sources talking about people committing these crimes and that stuff, and then they're all trying to, fill in the blanks. Put the pieces of a puzzle together. Alright? And, it can take, weeks to actually find out why this person did what he or she did. Alright? Yeah. And yeah. It's very, very... The consequences of, the result of why they would carry out a crime such as murder, sometimes it can be a scary story. Alright, you won't know the mystery of why people carry out the crime that they commit until, until somebody comes out and says why. Alright. It's obvious why Well, why people do what they do. Okay? I don't know what else to say about this. But it really is just, I guess what I'm gonna say is mind-boggling. Trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out exactly why did this happen the way that it happened. Alright, that's the thing. So, yeah, Robert Card was probably mentally disabled, or, he was just, mentally unstable. And maybe he just hated his life so much that the last thing that he wanted to do was to just commit murder, dump his body into the back of a boxcar or a truck or whatever, yada yada yada, and he just obviously well, a lot of people that commit murder, they would do it for probably one reason. One reason. Of course, I can think of a lot of purposes. One, it can be because they just hate their life. Number two, they hate people in general. Or three, they feel like their life just doesn't have any meaning anymore. So, yeah. So, that could be, possibly why. That could be, possibly why people do what they do. They just hate their life so much, so, yeah. Why would they go out and commit these crimes? And you could possibly just take a guess. You could probably draw conclusions and say, I might have a clue why people do exactly what they do. Alright, why do they go out and commit murder? Why do they obviously they hate their life. Alright, that part is probably very obvious. Okay, yeah, I can probably just, I could probably just say that for sure. Okay? Alright, there are people out there that obviously, maybe they just don't care if they run their life into the ground. Maybe they could just care less. That might be a probability right there. You think that might be the case? Because I would think so. I would think so. Because you know how it is. You know why people go out and commit these crimes? That stuff. And maybe they just hate their life so much. And they feel like life is just not worth living anymore. Okay, so maybe that's why 2023 might have been the worst year. Because people just lost all those, a reason to live anymore. And I feel sorry to think so. If you think that life is just not worth living anymore, I can say, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you think so. I'm sorry if you think that your life is just garbage. Alright, I'm sorry if you think that life is just not worth living for you anymore. You know, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. But, you know, if you want to ruin your life, that is just not something that I don't support it. I don't support you doing it, though. But there's gotta be reasons why people just do the stuff that they do. Alright? Because I obviously cannot figure this out. Obviously, the whole thing is just puzzling to me. But, hey, it's like a lot of people just, you know, they obviously just, but, you know, it's, you know, whatever. I hope that this summer there won't be stories about mass shootings happening here, because that's the thing that I am going to be very disgusted with. There are people here that obviously, well, how do you want to spend the rest of your future in 2026? Being that 2023 was the mass shooting year, that's what I'm going to call it, because that's the month where we've actually had, or the year we've had the most mass shootings, which is 2023. Yeah. And is this how we want 2026, the year of 2026, to actually be? Alright? That is a decision you have to make for yourself. And spending your life, or most of your life, behind bars, in a prison, or a jail cell. You decide that for yourself. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like what said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charlie Morris. Again, please remember to keep the comments Jason non-offensive. And, well, the rest of the future of 2026 is your decision on how you want to spend most of your life, or the rest of your life. Do you want to ruin your summer this year for yourself, or no? Right? That's for you to decide. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching again. And I will see you on the next video. Have a good day.